habéis visto el anterior vídeo, estuvimos dando una vuelta por el bosque, por así decirlo, capturando cosillas. Y nada, aquí estamos. Tenemos a nuestro colega el operador y el monstruo que lo fusionamos. Habéis seguido suscribiendo, ya somos casi 40 suscriptores y sí que tengo pensado en eso, hacer, ahora es que me voy 4 días, justamente me voy 4 días a la playa, es decir, entre el viernes 21 por ahí, y ahí ya sí que haré algún vídeo más, pero quiero ver si llegamos a los 50 suscriptores para hacer un especial y nada, y hacer un nuevo tipo de contenido aparte de los gameplay. Voy a ir continuando las series que tengo así en lanza y voy añadiendo algunas cosillas más. También podéis uniros a algún juego que sea multijugador del que hago gameplay para echarle alguna partida mientras algún día se esté grabando, se busca por ahí. ¡Hombre! El animal que está buscando. Aquí captura a los demonios que veis que se aparecen por ahí y luego podéis fusionarlos. Es decir, el demonio este lo podéis fusionar con el bicho que yo captura, por ejemplo, sale una mezcla entre ese y el otro. Por eso yo tengo un campo este, eran dos bichos iguales, uno azul y otro rojo, uno de agua y otro de fuego. Entonces, ¿qué he hecho? Lo he fusionado y ahora tengo aquí pues las dos habilidades, ¿veis? Hablo de los tipos. Puede ser bueno y malo. Eso también lo digo. Pero la verdad es que si hace uno de controlamiento siempre va a ser vulnerable a algo. Entonces da igual el tipo de bicho que te saque el otro. Un momento, mira, vamos a abrir el cofre así. es para mí uno de los mejores estudiantes. Y encima es como el principiante, la mascota principiante que tenemos. Y como sea de los que no ve o no quiera hacer el tutorial, lo pierde. Porque luego cuesta que te sale luego otra partida, pero cuando ya... Esa es otra cosa muy curiosa. Este juego, cuando te pasas la historia, aparece, está después en un sitio que se llama el bosque eterno o algo así. El corredor eterno. Y va a ser una de pantallas que son bosques aleatorios con animales ya de niveles 8. Además, y siempre al final suele haber un jefe. Como ahora mismo, que no sale el primer chavalillo. Sale por aquí. ¿Qué pasa aquí? ¡Alto, chico!
Halt! I've heard rumors of misguise themselves as Cocoon men to poach game here. You may be of them. Find out whether or not you're the real thing. Master courses lies ahead. Go on! Out of here! Next time I won't go easy on you!
Si te metes la del pulpo, chiquillo, lo tira y tira. Ya te voy a robar una lanza que sé que tienes en tu casa. Estos chicos no se hace la vida real, solo aquí. En los juegos. Baja la velocidad, pero aumenta la velocidad. Yo la verdad es que me mola el RTT. Me parece. Ahora ya parezco más importante. me da igual la verdad que haya muerto. Seguramente lo dije en el bicho que estaba en la captura. Y sí que flipáis. Lo voy a ver ahí como descubierto de mitad. Hacemos esto. chicos.
So, Son of the Lion of Peril is even more talented than I had thought. I looked Calabash herb in my books, but in the end I found nothing. However, there is a folk that describes a dust that waits sleeping. It is the story of a wondrous bird kept by a half-bird, half-named Kikirak, who lives in the Drag Forest. Perhaps that powder is the calabash leaves. This is that's all I could find, but it is worth looking into. Here is the key to the dragon meat. You should have it. Head straight back to the village and consult with him. He may know something about the tale of Kiki. You must do your best before it is too late.
The spirit defies the great father and throws off his shackles. He is now bound to chains of freedom. The Birdman.
La verdad es que había pensado en leer los textos, pero ya que está doblado en inglés, prefiero hacerlo cuando juegos que no tengan voz. Y ahora también estoy haciendo el vídeo de noche. Para hacerlo más o menos tranquilo, pero tampoco puedo avanzar mucho la voz. Entonces a veces
So,
no sé si
even Chorus does not know.
esa es la razón por la
But I remember hearing the tale of the band.
que luego no pilla.
There is a similar story of divine spirits in Nagi legend as well.
Te gustaría ir a Vibes.
released his minions, the divine spirits, unto peril. He spake, "Thou shalt not come what preside." And so they spent days bringing to the forest and giving unto them. And then a spirit made up its create a beast in its own image. El Remor, that creature is the knowledge, and it will someday bring temptation upon you. O shalt the divine spirit so promised, in birth to the son was the birth of man, the beast of as told by the prophet. As the sands of time flowed on, beasts bore children, who continued to multiply. Soon a fateful day came for it. One of the dim spirits fell in love with the daughter, and so the promise at last broke. Ulrum punished the divine spirit's sin by transforming it into a descendants of that divine spirit still in the forest. Sometimes they reveal themselves to us. The birdman Kikinok has mentioned in the folk tales of might. We should seek out the legendary birdman. Enter the dragon forest, but be warned, an average cocoon master is matched. And be sure to ask the old gravekeeper about him. He is a storyteller of Cyrus and much about the fables of old.
Grand.
sí que quiero enviarle ropa. Me quito el total. A fin de cuentas, que si me matan a mí, entonces cuando se acaba la partida, me quedaré tranquilo. Vamos a ver.
Let my foolish son have it. I bet he's out playing pranks with that.
No, I quite like it here. I have a fine view of the forest. When I'm here watching the first time. Oh my, I almost forgot about the fucking children. Once upon a time in a faraway village, there lived a woodcutter who always boasted of his strength. It is that the woodcutter, to test his own strength by finding the tallest tree in the forest, he usually ventured deep into the forest in search. Meanwhile, the forest told the greed of the woodcutter. The great tree sighed deeply, lamenting his foolishness, and he continued to sigh. And before long, the breath of the great tree became thick and heavy fog which shrouded the forest. The woodcutter lost his way. He grew so tired, wandered about, that he soon took a short rest. Then, sweets and fluffs began to float down from above. All who would smell the sweet scent would fall fast asleep. The woodcutter couldn't help but to fall in deep slumber, and he lay, snoring great snores in the middle of the forest. For 3 days slept. On the 4th day, a birdman flew down to where he lay. He spoke to him. The strongest you always say, one fight with me if you may. But the woodcutter remained fast asleep. You can try to sleep if you must, but I shall wake you if must. He spoke those words. The birdman sprinkled a glistening white powder upon the window. With that, the woodcutter sneezed a great sneeze and jumped to feet. The woodcutter shouted, "Who are you?" "I am incredibly strong. I will battle right now." The man replied, "You can't defeat me, but if you do, we can be friends and I'll share my powder with you. It cures illness and turns old to new. From the forest people call the Yamu." The woodcutter tried to grab the birdman, but the woodcutter had sleep for 3 days, too hungry to hold on. With one flap and mighty wings, the birdman flew the woodcutter all the way back to the village. The woodcutter told the villagers all about the strange man. that not all believed him. From that day on, woodcutter never again boasted of his strength. Understand? The divine tree of the forest, an incarnation of Elrum. Must never think of harming it. It is always watching over us. There are many other tales with them. It seems all say that he hates fur. Perhaps he was barbered in a previous life. So, because they made you for the sake. Many years ago, the children of the village used to come to hear. You always played the flute, and even the rout children would calm down when you... And now? If so, then wrong.
Vamos a ver esto también. Estoy seguro que era el anterior cuando lo escuchamos.
This is the tale of the kingdom of Gehali that stretched across these lands long. Once upon a time, Prince Menek, son of King Korin, set out with his vassals in the forest. But in the forest they were enveloped by a thick fog, and he lost his way. Wandering aimlessly out, he happened upon a marsh from which grew an enormous tree. Thereupon he heard the sound of sobbing, but he knew not from what. He found a woman sitting all alone. She was weeping by the marsh. I am Alka. I just buried the here in the marsh of On, she said. And then she looked at Prince. He was overwhelmed by her beautiful eyes. The maiden split his heart that day. It's truly a fateful meeting. Thereafter, the prince made frequent trips into the forest. Undoubtedly, he was paying visits to the maiden. The maiden had a strange birth. She could talk to the insects and trees. Before long, there began a terrible rumor that the prince's heart had been stolen by a witch. One day, them spun silk from fairy cocoons and wove it into a full cloth for the king. But the brilliance of that cloth cast a shadow upon the kingdom. The king was so enthralled by the fairy silk that he sent soldiers into the forest, savage for fairy cocoon. The fairies, still in their cocoons, were boiled alive. The king killed them so he could have their silk. The prince pleaded with his father to stop his cruelty. The king was no longer the man once been. Prince Mick was charged with treason, imprisoned in the king's deep dungeon. He was never heard from again. When the maid learned of the prince's death, cursed her fate and lamented the foolishness of man, then cast herself away to the marsh where her mother lay. As she started to drown, a voice from nowhere whispered to her, I heard him. I shall do your wish. Tell me what, said the voice. The maiden told her all that weighed upon her heart, and said, greed bears destructive knowledge. Wicked power shall be the end for it. All hope is lost. The beasts of knowledge shall live in peace with the forest. The one light hope who I so loved perished at the hands of the beasts. I now go to where love Menek awaits. Thereupon heard him again. Claim that your true love was torn asunder by the greed and hatred of knowledge. When light is swallowed up by darkness, I shall unleash ruin of land, returning all to nothingness from whence it came. I have a firm grip upon the dark in your heart. Day forward, demons in the forest, terrible all they came upon. The kingdom of Gehenna fell to ruin. Swarms of only boo-boo, locusts of apocalypse. The demons of the forest now are the beasts spawned by the greedy man's heart.